Hi friends, it's Nancy, and I'm back for another 3 in 30 minutes, the alphabet challenge that has been issued by Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodah. So I just want to back up to my J video where I did just junk journal. So I made envelopes and these other little envelopes and these other little envelopes, and I'm telling you, it completely took over my life for an entire evening, and I made 50 pieces. And when I ran out of security envelopes, I just started piecing them together. And when one bobbin of thread would run out, I would just change it to a different color. So I have purple and red and green. This, I just wanted to demonstrate that the purpose of this envelope is so that you can see on both sides. So I've just put a little tag in there that I made. So something could be written on here, or a word snippet or something could be here, and then it could be seen through the envelope and then the image on the other side. So I made a ton of those. I made these envelopes that are horizontal or landscape rather than portrait or vertical. This one, I actually dug into the garbage at work and got this envelope. So yeah, and these ones are patchworky as well. Sometimes I use the same pattern paper on one side and something different on the other side, like this one. So that was a lot of fun. And but I think the itty bitty envelopes are my favorite of the projects. Aren't they just the cutest? All right, so I'll clear these off my desk. But I just wanted to share how much fun they were, how easy they were, and how you could just get so much done in a short period of time. So remove these. So tonight we are doing K. K is for kitchen scraps. So I'm taking garbage, trash from my kitchen and creating some different pieces. So I will be using my sewing machine, and I have brought this in a little closer so that I'm not off camera while I'm sewing. It does put me at a little bit of a weird angle, and it's a little farther away than I'm used to, but we're going to give it a shot. So the first project that I want to do involves the inside packaging of cookies or cereal. Keep the box too, because those are good to collage on and make tags, or you know, make a mini journal out of that, or a journaling card. So keep the box as well. But the part that we're going to work with tonight is actually the bag. I've got ink all over me, A, because I ink all the time, and B, I actually had a stamp at work attack me today. And it was black ink and I can't get it off. So I'm just going to grab a baby wipe here so I can wipe out the crumbs. And I think that'll be all right. But before we get started, let me just get the timer going. So 30 minutes starting now. So I'm just going to wipe this off. And then I'm going to cut a piece. And I mean, you can cut it any size, really. And I think maybe I mean, it's still damp, but I'm going to put it damp side out, so maybe it'll be easier to work with. So I'm just going to cut off this righty end. And so this is probably it's 5 inches, so 10 by 3. little hard to see, so I might get my head in the camera so I can get on top of things. Okay. Now I can either leave this ridged edge on both sides, or I can cut it off. I think I'm going to leave it this time. So I'm putting the edges together, and I'm going to run this through my machine. I'll bring the foot pedal over. Come here, foot pedal. And I'm just going to do like a very narrow seam along 3 edges. And I'm going to back that up just a bit. Okay, and then carry forward. I'm trying to remember whose channel I got this idea from. It might have been Treasure Books. I'll have to double check take another look, I guess. And you could use any color thread. As you know, my favorite color is to use a gold, but in this case I'm using black. And back that up. So there is a little baggie that you can use to hold ephemera. You could put several tags in here. Get in there, you. So you have your own glassine bag. If you want to punch a little thumb hole, it doesn't work unless you put a piece of paper over top. Like that. And then punch a half circle. If you just try to punch the papery plastic stuff, it won't punch. So this gives you a nice clean cut. So that's project number 1. Project number 2 is use tea bags. So I just let my tea bags dry in a saucer in the kitchen, and when they're done drying, I empty out the leaves and unfold like it would have been like this, right? So I unfold it, remove the leaves, and then I just lay them out to dry. So I've got a couple here. I want to make a tag that has a pocket on it. Ooh, look at that one. That one's good and dark, isn't it? And I only need half for this project. So I'm just gonna cut this tea bag in half. Okay. So what my intention is to stitch this tea bag fabric, I guess you could call it, to this tea-dyed library card. And it fits there perfectly. Right? So I'm going to stitch around it, but first I want to embellish this. And the thing is you can't use glue because the glue is going to go right through to the card and you won't be able to put anything in there. So I'm just going to do a little bit of collage of some random items. This is a piece of old paper shopping bag. I think I got it with some vintage notions. It was in somebody's old sewing box or something. And it has these pinstripes, so I think it's really cute. So just kind of tearing that up. And here's, oh, I had some lace. I was going to do a little bit of lace. Okay. There is a little bit of lace. I'm going to put on this little bit of gauzy, well, maybe we'll pull a few threads out of that first. So I hope everybody's having a good week. It's been a short week for me. I cannot believe tomorrow's Friday. So my youngest son actually works in the same office as me, but his location is different most of the time. But on Mondays and Fridays, he's in the same office. So I was talking to him tonight, and I said, are we going to see you tomorrow? And he said, yes. And I said, why, have you got a client? And he said, no, it's Friday. I'm like, what? How can it be Friday? I'm dumbfounded. This is a label from Crochet Cotton. So I'm just going to attach that there. So nothing can be glued. I'm going to try and decide, do I want to do a zigzag stitch, I guess? I think I'll do a zigzag stitch. Now with my zigzag stitch, it puts in like a series of 5 stitches all in one place, so I don't want that to happen on my tea bag. So I'm just gonna yeah, see, that whole first 5 stitches was all in one place, and it puts a big hole, so I don't want that to happen. But that's my setting. So I have it at 3.5 millimeters wide and 1.5 long. Okay, so the edge of this is crinkled. I kind of want the crinkle to be forward, I think. Yeah. So I am just going to run a bit of stitching here. And then we had some fantastic news today. My oldest nephew's son has been invited to interview at the School of Medicine at McMaster. So he's just finishing up his undergrad at the University of Guelph. He wrote his MCAT in the summer and did exceptionally well. So I believe he's applied to 4 medical schools. I might be wrong about that, but so he's yeah, he's going for an interview at McMaster. So I'm just going to turn this edge down like a little cuff, you know, 1/4 inch maybe, roughly, and I'm going to just do some plain stitching across that. The reason I'm doing that is to just strengthen the fabric, so when you're putting objects in and out, it doesn't tear. Now when you're sewing a straight line on a tea bag, I've noted that it can pucker a bit, so you just have to hold on to your back thread and kind of tug on the front so that it doesn't get all puckered. Cut these extra threads off. Okay, so now I'm going to stitch all the way around on 3 sides. About 1/4 inch from the edge of the library card. And again, this has got a bit of a wrinkle, and that's okay. I'm going to flatten it out, then I'm going to let go of it, and it can crinkle back up. Because wrinkly is not bad. So no big plans for the weekend. Sorry, I had to just wake up my computer. Make sure we're still on time here. to reverse stitch on this side, so I'm just going to pull the top thread to the back, and then with the two ends I'll tie a double knot. Right over left, and left over right. Okay, so there's that project done. I think this tag might be a smidge too big. Actually, it's going in. But I would probably want to choose something slightly smaller. Now, again, I could put a couple of things in there. I could trim off the edges, the two corners here, to make it more tag shaped, put a hole and a reinforcement in it. I think I'm just going to leave it more pocket-like, and because it has lace and fabric and paper from Sewing Notions and a crochet label, crochet cotton label, I'm going to save this for my sewing journal. So there's that project done. All right, the third thing I want to do is using a coffee filter. So I wish I had our new coffee maker that we just got. It has its own basket, so I don't need a coffee filter anymore. But God knows I got plenty of them. So I am just going to fold this in thirds, and I'm going to. This is a 2.5 inch circle. So I'm just going to sort of cut around this circle to make 3 of them. Okay, and I want these to be really grungy, so I'm squishing that up, and oh, I dropped one of them. And I will be doing some inking, so I'll bring this over. But first, I'm going to do a little tearing. So this first circle, I'm just doing a minimal 1/8 of an inch around. I tried using a punch to punch this coffee filter, so I could do 3 different sizes, and it did not punch. It did not like the fibrous paper that the coffee maker is made from. So there's one. The School of Medicine, it's the Michael DeGroot School of Medicine at McMaster, actually has a campus here in Kitchener, like a 5-minute walk from our house. So I'm hoping maybe Austin will choose McMaster. And I'm tearing the next one maybe 3/8 of an inch. So I'm hoping Austin will be able to spend some time here during his medical school days. Of course, you know, if he gets into Western, that would be cool too. I don't know. I'm just really happy for him. I recently was listening to a radio program. It's on CBC Radio, and it's called White Coats, Black Arts, and it talks about how it's an emergency room doctor from Toronto who does this radio program. I think it's on every Saturday. Anyway, one show he did a few months ago, Jeff Goldblum. No, that's not his name. That's an actor. It's something like that. He was saying that studies show that this one, I don't know, about 3/4 of an inch. Doctors have a hard time relating to the majority of their patients because most doctors come from privilege. So in order to get into medical school, you know, they probably didn't have to work a summer job, so that meant they could go and volunteer overseas or, you know, things like that. So it's very unusual for medical students to come from less affluent homes and backgrounds. Well, I'm here to tell you that our wee Austin was not born with a silver spoon in his mouth, to say the least. So the fact that he has done so remarkably well and that he is being sought after really is impressive. So we are so proud of him. Yeah. He's worked very hard. And he's a nice boy. Okay. I'm just inking around the edges here. You can probably tell what I'm making is sort of a raggedy rosette sort of a deal. Okay. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue here. Sticking that down. Minimal, a little more glue. Stick that down. I'm going to tear a couple of leaves. I'm just folding this in half and putting a crease and tearing a decent leaf. And then where it's creased, let me just make sure it's a leaf. Yeah, it's a leaf. Where it's creased, I'm going to ink that up so it looks like, you know, the main stem of a leaf. Now I could use a different color ink, like a pink might be nice, or a darker color ink might give even more detail. But I love how, like, do you see where there's extra color? It almost looks like the veining in a leaf. I'm just going to tear this little bit here. Okay. And this one, oh, look at that. That's not a leaf shape at all. Looks like the bugs got at it. So I'm just going to repair that. Vintage up these. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of put a little glue here, and now I could have stacked these up one at a time, but I decided to sort of offset them a bit. Now, to make the center of my flower, I've got a little bit of twine here, so I'm just going to cut off a piece, maybe 4 or 5 inches, and just to give it some variety, I'm going to add a little bit of ink here and there. Oh, I'm hot. I'm hot. I'm hot. I'm hot. Okay. So you could use tweezers or whatever, but I'm just gonna use my, what are these called? Pliers. Now I'll try to get my hand out of the way. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm just wrapping the string around in a circle, concentric circles. See how it's going. That's good. And then when it gets to a size I'm happy with, I'm going to cut it off. And this art glitter glue, it'll dry clear, so I don't have to worry about it being showing or shiny or anything like that. So I'm just making sure that end is not tucked on there. Good. Okay. So I have 7 minutes and 14 seconds left, and I have made our own glassine bag, which I can attach something to. Ooh, I know. I have a couple of ideas. If I can find it. Oh, here they are. So I don't know if you remember me making these or not. This was pieces of linen that I sewed postage stamps onto. So I could adhere a postage stamp on there. And it's got black thread too. Just looking to see if I have a little piece of lace that I might like there. Not really. Not really. Another thing I could use, if I can find it. I'm not finding it. I have these vintage bottle cap stickers. So if I did want to use a piece of lace, let's see how that would look. We'll go with something pretty neutral. I have some actual bottle caps somewhere, but I'm not sure where they are. Well, this one's got an actual, it has an image of a postage stamp on it. I'm just going to ink up the edge. So I will probably want to trim a bit. Just putting a little fabric tack on there. Trying to figure out if there's a right and a wrong. They look pretty much the same to me. Put that there, and it needs another something. Needs a little ink. Not sure how I feel about this one. I'm thinking maybe that milk bottle cap might be too small. The thing I need is something slightly bigger, but I felt like this was too big. Or maybe I should have moved it down. I don't know. I don't know. But it is what it is for the time being. And so that'll look nice with a little journaling card inside it. So again, here's what we made. Move some of this stuff off. We'll just pretend this is a journal page. So we can adhere our little glassine bag here. Maybe put one behind it. No, that would be overkill. And maybe decorate it with this little rose flower, something like that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to continue to work on this. You can probably guess that I've already made a few ahead because I just seem so practiced. I did. I made this one. I made another one too, but I don't know where it went. And I made another bag, but I didn't decorate it. This flower, I'm not sure where that went. It's around here somewhere. So I did do some mock-ups before I came and made a fool of myself, but that's okay because we have been exactly 30 minutes. Thanks so much for watching. We will be back with the letter L.